You know, the changing of the seasons doesn't just happen as easy as you think. It's not like flipping a switch or turning a page on a calendar. Sure, that might be it technically, but it's all about a feeling. It's all about the vibes. It's about the mindset. And there are all kinds of things that can help us get into the right mindset for whatever season's coming up. Right now, we know what we're going into. We're getting very close to spooky season, fall, those crisp nights, all of that. But right now, summer's still hanging on its last gasp. That heat is in full grip on you, but it's starting to release just a little bit. You go out to the store, you see Halloween stuff, you see Spirit of Halloween stuff, you are ready to go. It's pulling you towards that. And one thing that can really pull you towards the next season is movies. They can help with that vibe, that feeling. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So tonight I have some movies that are perfectly curated in order to kind of bridge that gap, to start to turn that dial, get you into the mood, the vibes, all the feels of leaving summer behind and heading into everything that we have coming in the spooky season. And you're going to want to watch these movies in order for full effect, because I took time to set them up this way on purpose. We're going to talk about it. So pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. All right. So what we're going to do here is just kind of move through this curated list. We're going to talk about these movies and why I've picked them to kind of guide you in and watch all of these before spooky season starts, because these are going to kind of get you to say goodbye to summer and hello to the best time of year. And I can't think of a better way to start that off than 2009's Friday the 13th. Now, I famously said this is actually maybe my favorite, probably second favorite in this franchise behind the final chapter, but I think this movie is severely underrated. And we're starting here because this one's kind of like a hinge point. Friday the 13th as a franchise is sort of the quintessential summer slasher. Crystal Lake, summer camp counselors, the peak of that season. But this particular version, the reason I picked this one, the 2009 remake, is because it captures something a little bit different than the others did. It makes it perfect for this transition time because it has all of these golden, like harvest sunsets in the movies, a sun-drenched sort of fading out quality to it. There's fields, sunsets, cabin, the lake, but it doesn't feel like summertime. There's very little by way of getting out in the water and things. There's a little bit of that, but everybody's dressed in clothes, flannel, setting beside fires. They've got boots on a lot of the time. It has this different vibe that's sort of like summer's last exhale going into the golden fall. And you kind of see that a lot, especially as Jared Padalecki's character is driving his motorcycle around. And that's why it works as the opener, because it still feels like summer a little bit, but it's a summer that knows it's ending, that it's almost over. It's the perfect place to start because you're not just leaving the season behind quite yet. Almost. We got another week until we do it on the channel, and then everybody kind of turns that page on September 1st, but you're starting to notice that sunset. You're starting to yearn for those cooler days. This movie, underrated, great action, a great Jason with Derek Mears, a great lead character with Jared Padalecki, some great side characters. I really have nothing to complain about with this movie. It's the perfect place for us to start turning the page. Friday the 13th, 2009. Now, the next one is honestly tailor-made for this list, and we'll talk about why 1985's Silver Bullet is perfect to kind of start to ease you on down the line out of summer and into spooky season. We're not getting into all the heaviest stuff yet. There's 2 months of spooky season for that. This is a gap bridge. This is getting from one place to another, as we're going to kind of do over the next couple of weeks. But this one is full transition itself. You've got small town, you've got fireworks, kids riding around on bikes, you've got Corey Haim here with his souped up wheelchair, county fairs, warm evenings. You kind of go from like around the 4th of July into Halloween. You can say that. It kind of bridges this whole gap that we're looking at here. The 4th of July sequence captures those summer vibes, but we still see pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns and stuff later on. So this one kind of covers that whole area of time that we're looking for here. As we know, this is based on Stephen King's The Cycle of the Werewolf story. And you have a town that is being attacked by a werewolf, and they have to figure out who it is. There's some great like nightmare sequences in this film. Gary Busey with maybe his best performance ever in this film, and that's why it kind of works. You've got this small town atmosphere that we're starting to go into, and you've got this werewolf that's kind of attacking the edges of it. And the movie visually moves from summer into fall, colder, darker territory as it goes. So you're not just watching the transition, you're kind of inside of it in this movie. That makes it perfect. It's still not too heavy yet, though still a little bit scary. It's not too heavy quite yet. Perfect for this time of year. Now, the next one might be the best summer into fall back to school horror movie that ever exists, because it actually talks about it in the movie. It's The Lost Boys. And this one's got the end of summer vibes, because they talk about in the movie, they've got a couple of weeks of summer left or less before they got to go back to school. So they have all of this time at the beachside town of Santa Carla, out on the boardwalk. You know, everything is jumping. And of course, there's vampires. The coolest vampires ever to grace celluloid are out there, led by Kiefer Sutherland. And you even have the mom in this movie say, like, next week when school starts back, this is all going to change. So they're saying goodbye to the summertime and the freedom and everything that goes with it. And they're going to get back into the back to school fall, heading into spooky season in this movie. So you're saying bye to all those warm California nights on the coast. You're saying bye to the amusement parks, the boardwalks, the motorcycles, the late nights, and you have fall and Halloween and back to school creeping in. And that's why it works for this to watch to kind of transition and get ready for spooky season, because that's what you're doing here with using a supernatural horror to go from summertime nostalgia back to school. And it's all with the coolest vampires. Of course, you got both Corys in this movie, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, as they end up being vampire killers by the end of this thing. Death by stereo. This movie has it all, perfect transitional. Nothing too like spooky season coded yet. It's all about the transition, so it fits perfectly here. Now, the next one is one that I actually think I had on a summer movie list, but it feels like the last lazy days of August, which is what we're in right now. It is Tom Hanks and the Burbs with Joe Dante directing. And this one has it. You know, you're just these lazy days, summer winding down, your last little break before you go back to the normal routine of everything. And Tom Hanks leads a group of let's just call them would-be neighborhood watch friends who notice that the creepy people next door in the creepy house that stands out amongst the idyllic houses on the street might just be up to no good. They might be up to some crazy, evil, almost supernatural activity, and they just might be right. This has got all the weird vibes of suburbia, that in-between time. All of it's here. Everything. You got Corey Feldman coming back again. One of my favorite underrated performances by Tom Hanks. You have Carrie Fisher making an appearance in this. You got Bruce Dern. This movie is a lot of fun, but it's got those creepy vibes. It's like if everything is normal, back to school, picket fence, suburbia, the creep factor going on just underneath it is all captured here. That's why it sort of fits here. It's like the end of all that and the creepiness that's coming is right underneath the surface. That is reflected perfectly in the Burbs. So I would say check that out. Make sure to try to watch these in order and you will see how they progress. So I chose them like this on purpose. The Burbs was next. Now, next is one of my top 5 favorite movies all time. And this is a perfect time for it because is it a summer blockbuster only? Is it a horror movie? Is it a comedy? Is it action? Is it all of the above? That's why it's the perfect midpoint on this list to turn us. It is Ghostbusters from 1984. I'm talking the original film here. Supernatural, adventurous, fun, comedic, a little scary, endlessly rewatchable. This one earns a spot here because it is exactly the right appetite for now. You're getting a little spookiness. You got a little normalcy. We're not in the full like spooky season swing yet. We're starting to get ready for things that go bump in the night, but we want it balanced out by kind of just comedy and other movies, action. Well, you got all that in here. So it's perfect for this because it gives you everything. So it does it while keeping it fun and light and not going all the way into horror territory, just sprinkling the horror in there. And it's not so scary that you can't watch it with your kids, all of that. So it's like perfect, but it gets your brain thinking about ghosts, mythology, things that go bump in the night, things that are out there underneath the ordinary world that spooky season is going to start to uncover as the veil between our world and the spirit world gets the thinnest. I absolutely love Ghostbusters. There is no bad time, but this is the perfect time to watch. Now, next one up, we're going to 1982 for Poltergeist. And this one has a little bit of the Burbs vibe, but crunk up because this one is genuinely more scary, more ghost, starting to lean in a little heavier now. But there's something beautifully transitional about Poltergeist because we have that suburbia and we have what would be like a normal like family drama or comedy, maybe slice of Americana, just pure suburban Americana is what you're going to get in here. You get that wonderfully from Spielberg with Tobe Hooper splashing in the heavier horror elements. And that makes it a perfect blend for right now because you have that Spielbergian summer adventure, nostalgia, sense of wonder, but it is all framed in a full-fledged haunted house and horror movie. And there's some really horror sequences in this, some scary sequences. And it bridges that gap between the summer blockbuster and all the ghost stories, haunted house films, and horror that's waiting on you in September and October. A perfect fit here. It feels comfortable, feels familiar. You feel Spielberg's fingerprints all over it, but it's got a darkness underneath that transitions. You see it in the weather in the film kind of transitioning too when you're not inside the house. A perfect fit for here, and nothing about it screams Halloween or spooky season, and so it's perfect for the transition because there's a lot of movies that are haunted house films that feel more like you should watch them around Halloween, and you can certainly watch this one around Halloween. I'm sure we will talk about it again during spooky season, but it has that nice in-between flavor that makes it perfect as one of these movies to watch to get ready for full-fledged spooky season. Now, the next one, if you notice a little bit of a theme here, I'm pulling things that are suburbia. They involve like just the comfort of home because we're leaving summer vacations. We're getting back home. We're kind of being around our houses, the place we're safe, comfortable, back to school, bridging the gap into fall. I think Fright Night from 1985 does that perfectly. It doesn't feel like a warm weather vampire movie. It doesn't feel like it's full fall yet. There's like a scholastic feel to this because you do see them with schoolwork and talking about schoolwork and homework and it kind of has that. And of course it has all the suburban flair again that kind of wraps up. So it's something about that nighttime in suburbia. And of course, this is about a boy who finds out that maybe his next door neighbor isn't exactly what he thinks, much like the Burbs, except for this time, He's a vampire, and Jerry Dandridge is a great vampire, and Chris Sarandon plays him beautifully. It's scary. It's fun, great practical effects, some of the best practical effects you're ever going to see, maybe besides The Thing. So we're starting to crank it up more. We're starting to get more into that spooky horror territory. You're going to get a whole lot more here than you're going to get in Poltergeist, which is why it comes next in order. And it's kind of like the ultimate nightmare. You find out that the nice guy next door is actually the monster next door, and not as a euphemism. He is a real monster next door. And so, but unlike heavier horror, it does have some heavy, scary moments, but it also has like a mashup of Peter Cushing's character and a Vincent Price character in here. You got Peter Vincent, you always have to have like the British guys, oh, the vampires are coming, the vampires are coming. And you get that. You get the late night horror host vibe in this movie. Everything is perfect here. It's not full on Halloween yet, but it's definitely left summer behind. Fright Night. For real. All right, now number 3 is where we start, or the top 3 is where we start to kind of really turn and go into full monster. It started to spin us there with Poltergeist, took us further when we got to Fright Night. Now we're going even further. We're just putting our finger right on it with the Monster Squad. I mean, hello, it's the Monster Squad. And this is where you let the Universal monsters come back into your life right here. But the Monster Squad still has enough of the Goonies style bicycle riding suburban kid after school adventure DNA running through it that it doesn't feel like you've jumped straight into October just yet. It feels like the first few weeks when you've gone back to school, summer vacation has ended, you're back to the grind, and suddenly all the Universal monsters show up. It's basically the Goonies meets all the Universal monsters, and a bunch of decorations start popping up. It just feels like a very Amblin entertainment. It feels very much like Spielberg, but Fred Decker, who's very underrated in a lot of the work that he did in this genre, this is his baby, and the Wolfman's got nards, and so does this movie. Way more than people give it credit for. It's got some bite. It's got some nostalgia. It's got all the kids kicking monster ass that you want for this time of year. It's an adventure that suddenly turns into horror and spooky season. That's exactly what we want. The Monster Squad. Now, I'm going to throw you a curveball with this next one. I'm going to throw you a curveball because this one's not horror at all, and that is exactly the point. It is E.T. E.T. is here on purpose because it's going to reframe this whole list. You're thinking, man, we're getting more and more horror heavy, and then bam, I hit you with E.T., and we're definitely going full on Amblin entertainment here and kids riding bicycle energy and everything, much like the Monster Squad. But emotionally, this movie becomes flashlights in the darkness. Kids on a creepy adventure. You have a space alien that they don't know to start with is friend or foe. You have all these adversaries that they've got to get by that are basically just adults coming to try to take this little creature away. And you have the big full moon, the bike scene, and I can't think of this movie without thinking of that scene, and just flashlights going through the dark. Very much Spielberg, dark adventure energy. It's a little creepier than people give it credit for. You also bridge the gap because you actually do go into Halloween. They even dress up E.T. for Halloween. You see kids going around trick-or-treating again in suburbia for Halloween. So this one is all about the anticipation of what's coming. Not so much about fear, although it has that little dark thread running under it. It's sort of the same thesis that I made a couple of weeks ago, where this whole stretch of calendar is sort of E.T. like that feeling that you're living inside this movie underneath with the bikes and the long nights giving way to summertime. It is all distilled in this movie. It's not necessarily scary energy, but this transition and all of the vibes, the feel that we want to get to, it's all right here in E.T. And finally, the one that I say save for last, it is the ignition switch. When you're ready for full-on vibes, to turn that page and get ready, I can't think of a better place to do that than Something Wicked This Way Comes. Now, this is a Disney movie off a Ray Bradbury story that is very dark, and I absolutely love it. I put it here on purpose because once you reach this movie, you're not approaching spooky season anymore. You are ready to kick the door in. You're standing right in front of it, hand on the knob, ready to go. Small town America, leaves blowing this way and that, storms rolling in, a carnival that is creepy rolling into town, which oddly enough, the fair has always hit around like the second week of September here, first week of September, my whole life, the Gwinnett County Fair. And it kind of brings fall with it. And that's what I think of with Something Wicked This Way Comes. You've got Mr. Dark, literally the bad guy, a devil stand-in in a black hat, and he's ready to give you anything you want. All it will cost you is your soul. And that's why this movie works as a closer, because it takes that Ray Bradbury sort of creepy feeling, kicks it up, and again, it's in a small town setting, which kind of adds to the whole cozy feel of leaving it behind. The carnival is bringing fall energy, creepy energy with it, and we're just kind of saying goodbye to summer with the arrival of a carnival that just, in this situation, happens to be, have monsters, essentially, bad guys at the head of it, and very creepy. Jonathan Pryce in this as Mr. Dark he has just an aura about him that sells this thing completely. The October people arrive. This movie, creepy to the max, all the vibes that you want. When you're ready to really turn that dial and you've built up through this list, this is the one that brings it home, and then you're ready to go 100 miles per hour through the rest of spooky season. You just got to get to Something Wicked This Way Comes. So there you go, 10 movies from Crystal Lake sunsets to the blowing leaves and the fall energy of a carnival sweeping into town with all the ghosts underneath. Perfect ignition switch, 10 movies to get you ready for spooky season, to get you in the vibes. Try to watch these as many as you can between now and next week on August the 29th, when spooky season officially arrives here at AV Pop Culture, and we've got 2 months to enjoy it. We're going to slow down, cover everything in it, and live in this space, and I cannot wait to share it all with you. But that's what I got for you this time. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, hype up the video. If you'd like to do a little bit more, my Patreon link is in the description of every single video. You'll get your name in lights, special members only videos and content, and everything helps the channel, and I really do appreciate it. But until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. I know.